The Royal Pandora Empire was one of the oldest factions on Xbox Space Engineers, a faction of great power and might, yet now they have fallen to dust and been spread to the wind. This is their story, a tale of war, victory, betrayal and sedition. This is the rise and fall of the Royal Pandora Empire. Our story begins on the Xbox official beta server following a new member of the Terran Empire, who quickly rose up the ranks to become a junior officer. This member, Drift. And here to give you the full account of the Terran Empire, its demise and the later formation of Pandora, it is Drift himself.
At the height of the Terran Empire, they had 80 members. 86 members, I think, was their max amount. Now, at the time of that, there was the largest faction around. They were the strongest by a long shot. So when they came around, I came in as a seaman recruit, and I believe it was their second month of operating, and that's when they had 76 when I joined, and then after I left, they recruited 10 more to get to 86.
Right.
They had a powerhouse. A week after I joined into the Terran Empire, one of the members of Terran Empire got banned for being affiliated with an enemy of the Terran Empire. Their name was Affin. Affin he's a young kid. Right now, I think he's 16. At the time, he was like 13. He left, he formed his own faction called the Fallen Empire, having 5 members. Mm-hmm. I got in contact with him because I didn't know why he was banned. I wanted to see for myself, you know. I like to make sure everything's on record. I went to see that. Shanner, the ruler of Terran Empire, found out about said issue that I had went in contact with him, found me as a traitor, and then banned me from the Terran Empire. I was a sought-out enemy of the Terran Empire, and this is when beta servers just dropped. So I was completely on my own. Now, I'd seen through that Affid was not a capable leader. I had looked through, I realized he's too young, he doesn't understand, he's very incapable of what he is trying to do.
Inexperienced.
And then we found another faction who was also allied to us, who was the faction who was opposing the Terran Empire, called the Fallen Order. At the time, they were pretty powerful. They only had 10 guys, but, well, anyway, we got in contact with them. We ended up forming the first alliance, the Anti-Terran Alliance, I think is what we called it, and I formed the first iteration of the Pandora Empire, which the first name of it was not called the Pandora Empire. We actually called it the Nova Empire when we first started. But, we started that alliance. We began seeing how the Terran Empire operated and seeing their alliance. They had something called the EDC Alliance, or the Earth Defense Coalition. They started this alliance. They had 10 alliance members. The big ones at the time were the UNSC, Terran Empire, and I think they had a mercenary group, but I've forgotten their name. Been lost time. They disbanded within the first 3 months of beta servers. They started out, we got intel on how they operate. We saw that they were a very intel-based alliance. That's how they attacked. That's how they understood how to do things. They were a very sabotage-type group. After we leaked information about what they were doing, because not only did they try to spy on us, they spied on their allies, the Terran Empire did. We leaked this information to their alliance chat, as we also infiltrated our own spies at the time, and we made their alliance collapse within 3 weeks. From that point, we then started to form the true alliance powerhouse, the DCOP.
So basically, you started on Xbox server, investigated Fallen Empire faction, got kicked out of Terran Empire as a result, joined up with Fallen Order, and then built up an alliance of smaller factions until you basically created the Pandora Empire.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And the name the Pandora Empire, the reason that we actually changed it was because the Terran Empire had set a bounty on our heads on one of the other factions, one of the other powerhouses on the faction. They didn't want to send out their own forces. They wanted to make us fight each other, saying that, oh, the Nova Empire was allied to us, we know their location, you can go attack them. And the other guys fell for it, so we had to change our name to the Pandora Empire so that we didn't get confused with another faction and we didn't get attacked for another faction's fault.
Yeah. Explain the Terran Empire conflict.
It was a lot of intel issues. We compared a lot of the intel of what the Shanner, the Emperor of Terran Empire, was lying about, and he was lying to his own members and being rude to his own members about what was going on and what was actually happening. He was falsifying documents, falsifying intel to make himself seem stronger than what had actually been happening, because on server we had destroyed at least 5 of his bases, which at the time for 20,000 PCU was a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
So we were consistently destroying his bases and consistently repurposing them into Pandora forts. So he was falsifying documents saying that they had us on the run to their members, until it got to a point to where the command of the Terran Empire realized that he was falsifying documents, at which point they got in contact with me. We told them the situation, we told them what was happening, we told them everything. We managed to convince the entirety of 60 players in the Terran Empire to leave the Empire in 3 days and form their own faction called Aegis, which they then used to attack the Terran Empire.
Are they still around?
No, they collapsed. They collapsed because the command structure leaders, a lot of them left.
Okay.
A lot of them quit playing. One of the big names being Jimmy, another being Galactic Reefer, Hooded, and 2 other, but I forgot their name.
Okay. How did you get to Space Wars?
Well, it was just a matter of realizing 20,000 PCU vanilla mods is not operable at all. It's not efficient. Most people started to leave after they realized that 20,000 PCU wasn't good. Private servers were now up to the billions, so we just decided, here, let's find a server, one that's semi-stable, move to it and see what happens. We moved to it, and just it went on from there.
So the Terran Empire didn't really meaningfully affect you going to private servers?
No, the Terran Empire had no effect on us going to servers, private servers.
How long did you stay on beta servers, by the way?
We stayed on beta servers until the first private servers came out.
Have you got like a time length?
Not off the top of my head.
Roughly, like 5 months, 10 months, 20 months? What, like, give me a rough...
Oh, how long we were on beta servers?
Yeah, roughly how long?
6 months, probably.
Okay, thank you. And so, as stated earlier, the Royal Pandora Empire moved to the server Space Wars in November of 2020. For the first few weeks of Space Wars, it was relatively quiet, bar a few skirmishes here and there. However, RPE's first major engagement came due to failing diplomacy with DRA, who possessed an enormous dreadnought, the Invictus, built by Glaston. The Pandora Empire then allied with ICP, which was led by Deck, in order to combat this rising threat. This alliance was kept secret to conceal the numbers that DRI would have to fight against.
But not for long!
DRI quickly found this out, though, due to extensive scouting and spying. As RP had a Pax Britannia foreign policy and generally policed the server, DRI approached them and delivered an ultimatum. Provide an RP base coordinates for them to raid, or DRI would hit an innocent faction within the next 12 hours. The Pandora Empire rejected this, so DRI hit the ICP shipyard, destroying their warships, and that was the end of that.
But not for long!
As these actions would go on to have unintended consequences of causing the server to go up into arms on the attack of an innocent faction. All the other notable factions of the server banded together in a massive alliance to fight for DRI. This alliance consisted of the Pandora Empire, ICP, IGF, also known as NAC, TRE, TFE, more commonly known as the Fallen Order, and GDA. Even WCO and the Terran Empire, who were not present on the server, joined with the alliance in order to see DRI fall. WCO provided intelligence on the Dreadnought as well as tactical analysis, while the Terran Empire proceeded to do what it does best and just throw hollow threats. DRI responded by pressing their attacks on ICP, which led to an end of the conflict when ICP was almost obliterated, their faction being left with only one damaged space station. A Cold War then followed with minor DRI attacks until Gladstone discovered the location of Pandora's main base, with the Dreadnought under construction. The DRI led a devastating attack on the base and wiped Pandora and their ally GDA from the server. And that was the end of that. This now started the process of Pandora leaving the Space War server. To talk us through and explain these events, we have Gladstone.
Hey, my name's Gladstone. I'm a solo PvPer who's been around the community for about 2 years now, and I also do uploads to Steam and Mod.io.
And Fang.
I'm Fang, former ship designer for the Royal Pandora Empire and now a commander in the World Commonwealth under Welch. I'm most notable for being RPE's head ship designer and now WCO's main Scottish ship poster.
Where did Pandora leave Space Wars, and where did you go from there?
It's probably good to provide some context. I was brought on to Pandora near the start after leaving beta.
Right.
At the very start of servers on base game. I was brought on as Drift's third in command, and I ended up being lead ship designer. Now, the ships were atrocious back then. They've gotten a lot better. Ships have bad memories attached. What do you call it? So, the main reason we left Space Wars, probably because you obviously know about Glaston's attack on us. He destroyed our dreadnought that was in the
Glad
process
gave
of
me the
being
rundown.
built. Aye, so
Yeah.
after Glaston's destruction of our main base of operations and ship in progress of being built, we decided to move to mobile bases. So I designed this massive ship that was able to print off our carriers. Essentially, it had the entire core of it was a printing assembly. So I designed that. However, every time we built it and started using it to build other ships, the admins would delete it because unnamed grids would be attached. And now, the admin of Space Wars, I can't mind his name, Reaper, he was toxic as fuck. So now this ship was absolutely massive. It was near, I think, 700 meters. It was massive. It was all heavy armor, and the entire top was just covered in weapons. As Glaston would know, my early ships were very gun spammy. After rebuilding this ship from scratch about 3 times over, and the admins keep deleting it because it was creating unnamed grids that were attached to it to charge, we just decided, fuck it, Space Wars is shit.
And that was the end of Space Wars. However, we will go back and quickly unpack what Fang said about the ship printer. So I did a little digging around the Space Wars server, and I actually found the ship printer above the various print rules that RPE built. And I discovered something. Firstly, the printer ship and the printer welder walls were in violation of the server's rules at the time, and I have proof of that because the welder walls were on a limit of 100. They had won well in excess of that. The Reaper was somewhat justified in deleting them. Secondly, Base Wars. The admin Reaper went a bit crazy and toxic and proceeded to wipe the server, and it shut down in April 2021. Oasis, February 2021.
So I think the server we moved to afterwards, Oasis. So we took a bit of a break where we designed a proper station to like have as a base that could be jumped. So we were on that. Oasis. We were only on it for a wee bit, and then turns out one of our members was trying to inside us. Because all of a sudden, our entire base exploded. And then when we went, we were basically searching to see what fuck happened, because we thought it was the admin abusing us. So we were searching about, and then we came to a hangar that was just off our main base. And I had my welder out just to see what was damaged. And I hovered over like a hole in a block, and it showed a warhead, and it was built by one of our faction members. So we'd already put a lot of work into the server. It'd all been destroyed by warheads, so we kind of rage quit, because that was very common with Pandora. Call it
Did you have a
Sam.
name for that event, or shall I just make one up?
the beginning of the end. So after the events of Oasis, I kind of became a bit withdrawn from the game.
Yeah.
Because I just started back. I had a lot on my plate.
At the end of Oasis, the RPE split into two factions, INC, led by Fang and Spark, and RNE, led by Drift, who had chosen to retake the name Royal Pandora Empire. These two groups left the server in March 2021. As for Oasis, it was reformed into the Distant Crate server and continued on, going through various versions until it ended at version 5 on Monday the 12th of September 2022, where the server closed and it came to an end. Cosmic, April 2021.
Cosmic had two wipes I played on. The first wipe was whenever Sparks and his guys were INC. The second wipe is whenever Drift joined and they became RNE.
Split after Oasis. When was the split from Pandora Empire into RNE and INC?
That was during Oasis. Sparks ended up taking over our ship design, and it got worse. Like, mine were pretty much cubes with guns on it. His were prisms that were more gun than ship.
Right.
Although I like the guy, I will admit he did employ pay-to-win tactic. He would donate to donate to the server's GoFundMe, essentially, to keep the server alive.
On Cosmic, he spent well over $200.
Oh yeah, he would buy ore cubes, like massive 200 by 200 meter ore cubes, and we'd send out mining drones to mine it so that we could build ships. And then an insiding event happened that we only found out about right before we attacked, but basically Drift had insided WCO, got their base coordinates, got screenshots of their bases, their defences, everything, and he basically told us, take the 3 biggest ships, jump to about 2 kilometers outside their base, wait for one person in the faction to get on, which ended up being Glaston. Unlucky. Yeah, very unlucky.
The reason why the Strati ships were a problem is because whenever we saw their ships and saw the gun spam, WCO had no active, real active ships to compare to that many guns. So we decided for fun to literally with ions and random blocks just make a makeshift Bertha sniper ship.
Right.
I was
which
getting
pays
to
off.
that, Glaston.
I was
getting to that.
Alright, continue.
So, WCO really only had one ship in development, and because technically Glaston was online, even though we knew he wasn't anywhere near the base, we attacked, we took out the ship. Oh no, wait, even worse, we were neutral when we attacked. So their guns didn't target us, we manually targeted them. And we basically took out WCO's in-production ship. Then we went into their base, ground down everything, stole everything, and we started shuttling it back to our ships. And that's when it happened. Literally like a scene out of a movie. Just we see our round fire, and it just takes out one of our ships completely. And then another one, our ships are gone. So we basically raced back to the one remaining ship and jumped out of there.
Just a quick jump in regarding this battle. What is interesting is, although Fang says they managed to strip the base of everything, I have photos and evidence from WCO that does contradict that, as they say they managed to jump some of their ships out as they managed to get members online, then managed to defend the base using assault rifles. considering the fact the WCO ships under construction, the Unrelenting, survived the battle and managed to inflict some damage on RPE forces, and considering the lack of damage within screenshots, I am inclined to agree more with Welch on this one. However, it cannot be denied that it was a significant comeback by WCO, regardless of how much RPE managed to take from the base.
And we'd figured out what WCO had done with the Bertha ship, so Drift kind of started designing something similar. Something just about the whole insiding and building Bertha ships of our own really irked me. So, because like, it wasn't fun at that point. So, I kind of took screenshots of stuff, sent it to WCO, explained completely what had happened, gave them our base coords.
After that is whenever it was like it just became more skirmishes between WCO and RP, because after all that, Drift got a lot of flack for inciting. A lot of members defected to WCO. It was just a mess.
You want Asgard? It's yours.
Whatever game you're playing, it won't work. You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
No!
He left Space Engineers for a bit, but basically, I grew a conscience, told them everything, sent Welch our base coordinates, sent him pictures of the ships that we had built, and I think it was you, Beast, and Welch that jumped in and instantly crashed. So we found your ship before we were meant to. Basically, they started attacking them, but Welch and Beast had just got on, and I think it was a bit too late at that point to do anything.
That's about right.
Drift got exposed for insiding. He left and put Salty in charge, and he kind of went on a power trip. Sniper ships. We started farming the hot zones, which is if you stay there, you get money, wasn't it, Glaz? Basically,
Credit to buy stuff.
Yeah, credits. We had a respawn pod in the middle of an asteroid, in the middle of the hot zone. It was literally only a respawn pod, so it was hard to see. And we had one of our members stay. It was the 7th of June that I decided to join WCO, because I had invited some of the RNE lot to the server, not to the server, to an Xbox party, and went, look, I'm thinking of joining WCO, and Salty, who was in charge at that point, didn't take it too well. He just went, are you fucking kidding me? And then just left the party and kicked me from the Discord servers. For security reasons, and I'm doing finger quotes there. And then I decided to make a meme.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so yeah. So after Cosmic, so I've seen you lot all left Cosmic then.
Yep, I left, joined WCO, and I've been happy since.
Cosmic. So Cosmic wasn't a server that everyone just left. The owner went psycho and it just died. After Cosmic, I think RNE took a break, as some factions do. I think they just might have taken a break, just done some just built some ships, fought some ships in creative stuff that WCO does sometimes. But I know at one point he went on Star Wars faction. That's like a role play Star Wars server. Like he was in like Grand Republic, stuff like that. That server is a whole nother issue of its own. And he was on there for a little bit, got banned at some point. and then ended up on Capella.
Before we cover the recovery of the Royal Pandora Empire, we should first address what happened to Cosmic. With all the major factions leaving, the server did take a turn for the worst. However, it did manage to sustain a population and continued well on after the other factions left, surviving until July 2022 when it eventually shut down. At least the survival aspect did. The server is in the process of being remade into a dedicated minigame server. However, it is unlikely that this will see the light of day, yet there is still hope to be had. As for the Royal Pandora Empire, Drift eventually returned and reformed it on the 9th of July 2022. Engineered the Capella, August 2022. Drift reformed the Royal Nova Empire as the Royal Pandora Empire and was accepted into the Engineers of Capella server by Charmity Pyro, the server's admin. They resumed their long-time alliance with ICP, who were also on the server. The Empire immediately began to establish strong footholds on Earth and in space. However, they were drawn into conflict with the other two factions on the server via their alliance with ICP. These two factions were the IRS and the NAC. However, the NAC's role in conflict was reduced due to them being old allies of both ICP and RPE, as well as various infighting and seditions within their high command. RPE also began suffering similar infighting issues within their high command, which was evident in their few pseudo-engagements on Earth against the NAC, engagements which were all later called off by Drift due to the faction's inability to organise properly. The ICP were unable to assist them in that regard as they had problems of their own fighting the IRS on Pertam. Hostilities finally culminated with the IRS declaring on an ICP base of their choice. The base they selected was Bad Wolf Base, a station which had long been decommissioned due to IRS finding its location. Upon the declaration, however, they brought the base back online, reinforced it with various railgun emplacements, and prepared for battle. The RPE promised their assistance, but were only able to provide one cruiser. However, the ICP found roles for all RPE members who were able to join the battle as gunners for their Excalibur-class heavy cruisers. The Knights of the Seraph also joined this battle, with the ICP providing them 3 destroyers. Despite having 3 factions versus 1, the IRS Navy significantly outnumbered and outgunned the ICP Navy. The battle ended with Bad Wolf Base being completely destroyed, yet at a great cost to the IRS, as their navy was severely crippled. The only way the IRS had won the battle was by ramming their ships into the asteroid due to being unable to get past the Excalibur-class heavy cruisers. The ICP and RPE losses were very light in comparison, with RPE only losing their 1 Spartacus-class cruiser, while the ICP only lost 2 destroyers, with the rest ships taking moderate damage yet were fully repaired a week later. The IRS lost 5 destroyers, 4 heavy cruisers, 2 frigates and 1 battle cruiser. The ICP and RPE immediately chose to celebrate, in the only way they can: memes. However, the IRS were quick to retaliate, claiming victory as they had destroyed the base. The ICP congratulated them on their meager reward. Both factions to this day debate who truly won the battle. With this battle over, the ICP and RPE had completely exhausted the IRS's on-server ability to fight, and the faction retreated into seclusion to modify and upgrade their ships to repair the weaknesses ICP and RPE had exploited during the battle. Due to this, NAC was drawn into the conflict and declared on ICP's Farpoint station, and in response the ICP and RPE fortified the base and began to defend it with 6 Excalibur-class heavy cruisers. And now I present the footage of the most meaningful point of the battle.
Remember how to copy target and that?
Yeah.
All 3 other cruisers, keep an eye out. We're not sending everybody. Who just got a direct railgun shot on him?
We got
Good.
we got a light
listen,
cruiser now.
Orion class light cruiser spotted. 4.75 K's out.
I see
Hold
him.
on.
Alright, me
Oh,
and
hold on.
me and
Cruise-
KS can go handle that cruiser.
Direct hit.
Oh, yeah,
Direct
the
hit.
Orion light class.
Yep.
Light
What?
class. It's ass. Aim
Yeah,
for its
light
brick.
class.
Destroyer, get into position facing the Aegis.
He's just been range. I see him.
If the Orient class
Oh, try-
PVC target its bridge, it's right up in the front. Shouldn't be hard to miss.
Me and KS can go take care of that Orion.
He's jumping.
Hold
Aegis is
on,
jumping.
where's the camera?
If agent
Hold on.
is
Try
trying to view,
to me and Ranaghast side.
Guys, why is this Ohio does not have a camera?
It does have a camera.
No, I don't have access to a camera on this thing.
Actually, it's getting pretty close.
should
I don't
do.
like that.
Good shot.
Let's set it up
No, I
for
don't have
Andy.
it.
Also, Excalibur just landed every turret and the entire front straight on the Aegis.
Got it. I can. It's getting.
It's jumped.
behind
oh,
us.
it's behind us.
Spin up.
It's about
Focus
chaos.
it.
That's me and you. That's me.
Right.
Olympian, turn towards it.
Yep,
That'd be
right.
Banner.
All 3
no.
other cruisers. All 3 other cruisers. All 3 other cruisers engage the Aegis. The other cruisers that are in position to defeat the Orion, get ready to fight the Orion.
The light cruiser's
Alright,
closer.
chaos, you're with them. I'm going with Renan.
Are you sure?
They're
Is he the one with the light?
No, Executor, Olympian, Warlock engage the Aegis. Us 3 are already in position to fight the Orion. If you leave the Aegis,
Is it?
fight the Aegis together.
Okay, guys, the Ohio does not have a camera.
Right, Orion's
No,
jumping
but
too.
actually
Orion's
fine
jumping
with
too.
it.
Orion is
Alright,
jumping too.
jumping too. Alright, we gotta prepare for that one.
Orion.
He just wastes his entire.
Yeah, he got
just
closer.
wastes his-
Yeah, he got
He
closer.
just wasted his entire volley. Yeah, he also just wasted his entire volley on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone just hit him.
When you watch that Orient, back.
Right, he's,
Oh,
every,
the Orion's gone. The Orion's
yeah,
gone.
the Orion jumped further.
Oh my god.
Oh, he jumped? Oh,
Yeah, at least 45
Dude.
kilometers.
Probably trying to regroup.
these guys are so...
They're just taking volleys
They're-
and jumping away.
It's oh, Aegis is turning weird.
Aegis
I
is
think they're
running
trying,
away.
they're trying to get us to waste our ammo.
How did your camera get destroyed, Chris?
Yeah, the camera's not installed on this thing.
When the Aegis
Hang
got
on.
super close, it started firing at me and the
Hey Viking, what's up?
NAC's unprepared because Padme made this way too early.
Right.
Is ICP okay if NAC withdraws and we recall our attack announcement and plan this for some time where NAC can actually put up a decent fight for you guys?
So, just to clarify a second, you are surrendering.
Yes, because I want to do
Okay.
this Friday, as you know. I'm talking to you, see if that's okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell the guys. in
Wait,
VC
Friday.
We might. I wanted to do it Friday when we could get more people and more ships out, but Padme had to speed up the timeline.
Right. Yeah, well that's
So,
exactly why
I'm
you
gonna-
shouldn't be in leadership. You should be, but there
Yep.
we go.
Yeah, well, you and I both know that. So I'm gonna tell the guys on
Yeah.
my side we're going to surrender, take the ships back, and we're gonna
Yeah.
gonna try this at a time when it's easier for NAC to actually do something.
Okay.
Thank you guys for being cooperative. I'm sorry to waste your guys' time.
No worries, no worries.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you Friday. They've surrendered. They've surrendered.
Wait,
Fucking serious.
Yeah.
We broke the Aegis and they cried.
wait, what?
They surrendered.
No way, they surrendered?
Right, I'm putting
Is
attack
they-
announcement.
Wait, what? Let me look at announcements real quick.
I'm putting announcements.
Don't let-
see.
What if we
That's
don't
like-
accept the surrender? Force you to keep it
Yeah,
confidential.
if we were... Well, if we if we don't accept their surrender, they're gonna not come back, and we're gonna have to stay here for 5 hours, because then they'd be able to come and attack whenever they want.
ICP claim victory over NAC. They surrender.
Hold on, wait a sec. Hold on. You just stay right here. Yeah, but we won.
They looked at 16 scalpers and went no.
Okay, can you
understand how this works?
tell me what happened?
They
Shadow, they quit.
Rat's pretty salty. Guys, Rat's pretty salty, guys. What do you guys think about this?
Where's he
They're
salty?
pretty salty.
I can't say.
Where's he been salty?
He's been salty there.
Communication issues.
Because,
They had way more things to do. I thought they would.
Okay, let me explain what happened. Okay, this is actually down to Padme, because Padme just made the announcement without consulting anyone, as usual, so they had to scramble to get their ships, some of their ships ready. So, like, they thought because we were weakened, we'd be all, like, they would have some stuff ready, but they didn't, so they kind of got there thinking, saw our 6 heavy cruisers and thought, oh fuck, we're outclassed here, and then basically retreated, figured out what to do, and we're just like, right, okay, we're gonna have to surrender. Due to the humiliating surrender of the NAC, the ICP and RPE couldn't resist in taking the piss. Not long after this, a reformed NAC High Command approached ICP and RPE for a friendly battle on fair terms, before the upcoming server wipe that had just been announced by Pyro. The two factions agreed to a 5v5 destroyer battle in empty space, with no bases involved. However, space engineers being space engineers and factions being factions, each side brought 6 destroyers. The ICP and RPE won this battle, despite the NA ships being faster and more manoeuvrable. This was due to their better coordination and better utilization of their jump drives and beacon technology, being able to jump around the battlefield quickly, making the NAC destroyers chase. Both factions immensely enjoyed the battle and left on friendly terms. Due to the almost constant battling and toxicity from the IRS,
Got it? I don't want you here, and I don't want you here. I'm stuck with you.
both RP and ICP left the server, followed closely by NAC. This led to the server closing in December 2022, as it could not sustain the loss of 3 factions leaving and was unable to bring more factions in to replace them. Stellar Conquest RP, October 2022. The new server they were joining was set up by Grand Admiral Dex of the ICP, and was named Stellar Conquest RP. Yet the infighting and member inactivity problems for RPE persisted, leading to a splinter group to form led by Clockwork. This group was called Dead Echo. This splinter group protested the server's poor performance and proceeded to offline the RPE's bases in a move some would later call domestic terrorism. Fortunately, the Dead Echo faction was immediately banned and kicked off the server. It then subsequently collapsed. Dex claimed victory and promised a new golden age from the server if everyone was patient. Unfortunately, this golden age Dex promised never arrived, with continuing performance problems, unpopular rule changes which alienated the community, and Dex's refusal to delegate or share power with the other admins culminated in the server's collapse. This also spelled the end of RPE, with Stellar Conquest being the final straw. The dam broke and the RPE splintered. Most of its high command joined the ICP, while the rest all split into small factions which came to naught or were merged into ICP. The only one of note is IED, which survived for a few weeks, then fell into activity before being merged into ICP for a month or so, before splitting off again, recruiting some new members, and attempting to start over. The only other surviving splinter of RP that now exists is CSC, which split after Cosmic. As for Drift, tired of the Pandora Empire, he retired from Space Engineers, but chose to remain as a part of ICP should he choose to ever return. The time of the Royal Pandora Empire was over. Now the RPE is truly dead and buried, we're going to talk about the problem that RPE actually ran into. Because in this chronicle it has just been referred to as the High Command infighting, and that only scratches the surface. You see, the problem was with RPE, it was always too many members of their high command with varying different opinions. Picture 10 smart scientists all trying to change one light bulb, each with their own design of light bulb. Each one is arguing as to which one is better, and the person to change the light bulb is just standing there while the other scientists debate as to which light bulb to actually put in. This is sort of how RPE's High Command operated. Too much debate over what light bulb, and when they did pick a light bulb, sometimes it would blow up in their faces or other times it would work. Let's put that into context of an event that actually happened. During a pseudo engagement of the RPE against the IRS on the engineers of Capella, the ICP were invited to join. This led to 3 ICP members of High Command sitting in a voice call with 10 members of the RPE High Command and listened to them bicker for 3 hours while they did nothing. This is how it fell apart so easily. Because there was too much debate, and while everyone was capable on their own, they weren't capable together. This is why so many splinters were formed after RPE split. There was IED and so many others whose names and lost to time. Each member of the High Command split off and made their own faction, which then collapsed within a week because there were no members to do anything. Hence why they all re-merged into ITP. You had too many heads vying for the crown. Fortunately, the RPE is long dead, and those problems have not come with the members into ITP. The time of that bickering is over.
But not for long!
While making this chronicle during late January of 2023, Stellar Conquest RP was brought back online by Dex. The original members of RPE who had joined ITP left to create a new RPE under their own leadership. IED later joined and was merged into them. Dead Echo also pulled itself from the dust and joined Stellar Conquest RP. The RPE putting in Admiral James as their Emperor.
1 week later,
James was the subject of a coup and rejoined ICP. The Empire then restructured into a republic as they viewed that the Empire system didn't work, and they voted in Chancellor Smokes. The ICP were very familiar with the members of the RPE High Command, and to see a brand new member join in as Chancellor, the basic reaction was roughly this.
What?
Chancellor Smoke? I then later chatted to Smoke on a voice call, and it quickly became clear that the position of Chancellor was just a literal puppet. He was just to handle the diplomatic relations between factions while not actively contribute anything.
I know him. That can't be. That's that little guy who spoke to me. That poor man, they're going to eat him alive. Oceans rise, empires fall. Next to
Drift.
They all look small, all alone. Watch them run. They will tear each other into pieces. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be fun. Da 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 da.
Chancellor Smoky Clouds.
Good luck.
The real power in the house was the Fleet Admiral Imperial.
But not for long!
1 week later, he was then ousted and rejoined ICP, but acted as an independent mercenary as well, leaving for Hunter to take the position of Fleet Admiral.
But not for long!
Due to the inactivity of RPR High Command, the faction ended up collapsing. Hunter revealed to ICP that the backup plan of this was that all members would join ICP henceforth, which is exactly what they proceeded to do. Dead Echo also collapsed and merged with another faction known as SRM. Drift advised the members of RPR faction remaining that if they were going to start another faction, that it would not be under the name of Pandora, and instead create a brand new faction under a clean slate. And so here lies the Royal Pandora Empire, a once mighty and great faction led to its downfall through sheer incompetence.
You say
The price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your ships which you hurl and skips when you see us go by. Why so sad? Remember we made an agreement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, we're your faction. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember that you're ICP. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that we served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all. And when push comes a shove, we shall send a fully armed battalion to remind you of our love. Da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da. You say your love is raining and you can't go on. You'll be the one complaining when we are gone. And no, don't change the subject, 'cause you're our favourite subject, our sweet, submissive subject, our loyal, royal subject, forever and ever. And ever and ever and ever. You'll be back like before. We shall fight the fights and win the wars. For your love, for your praise. And we'll love you till our dying days. When you're gone, we'll go mad. So don't throw away this thing we had. 'Cause when push comes a shove, we will kill your foes and felons to remind you of our love.